Hey guys, Gaddock Teeg here. This is the last of the Hardmode flashpoints currently available on the PTS. This is Mandalorian Raiders. Personally, this is probably my favorite flashpoint, up there with Taral 5. It has some neat bosses. It's not super long, but it's long enough to be substantial. And I did it last night, and it's pretty hard. The trash hits probably too hard, if I had to guess. The trash, it just seems way overtuned for what it is. Particularly these dogs, they do a lot of damage. It definitely encourages CC, but most of these groups that I've been running with have been in full Arcanian gear, which is tier 2 kind of, or tier 1 depending on how you want to look at it. It's one tier from the top, and I've still seen healers struggle to heal through the packs that have a bunch of these dogs. I'm guessing that they'll be nerfed before they go live. I've seen a couple places reporting that this is true, that the dogs seem to hit too hard. Some of the turrets I've also seen complained about. They don't seem to be as bad as the dogs, but I could see where a group that was less geared than this one might have problems with that. Overall though, you'll see that the bosses in here are freaking awesome. I think this place is the pinnacle of what a hard mode upgrade should be, boss wise. They each get their own new little thing that makes them cooler. They all seem to be tuned pretty well, where this group wasn't having a ton of problems doing it, but where I could see undergeared groups really having to work hard to complete the flashpoint. It is weird to see such an upgrade in difficulty though. I don't know what they were going with this one. This seems like a tier 2 flashpoint really, on the level of Kaon, not Kaon Under Siege, the other one. Was it Kaon Under Siege? Whichever one of the Rakul ones was the tier 2 one. And the thing with difficulty is I like difficult flashpoints. I think flashpoints should be tuned pretty highly, but you can't have all different flashpoints at varying difficulty for a bunch of reasons. You can't have one flashpoint be the dead zone where everyone queues for it, like old Oculus and WoW. Everyone queues for it and just automatically quits when they see they get that flashpoint. So yeah, it definitely encourages the use of CC. The healer did a pretty good job there. I think the commando might be the best of the new healers. Not positive about that. I've seen some scoundrel healers really struggle with certain things. And sages, of course, always good. Yeah, this commando seems a lot better than the healer I had last night. Which is probably a good thing. Hopefully we won't wipe. We wiped a couple times on trash yesterday. I don't think we ever wiped on a boss. You'll also see that there's a bonus quest in here, which means there's also a bonus boss, which you'll see. But like I was saying, it's another reason you can't have varying difficulty is you can't put undergeared people in a position where they can't queue for flashpoints. Flashpoints should be difficult enough for people in under-geared groups, and interesting for people that are well geared, which is a hard balance to get right. Which usually means that you need to have interesting mechanics that have to be learned. So you'll see this next boss isn't super hard, but definitely very interesting. If we can get past this is probably the toughest pull in here. Because these guys hit for 1,000,000 damage. See, even with... we got 2 of them dead with a bunch of CCs, and they're still hitting me for 1,000,000. This group is on top of its stuff, though. I'm impressed with this group. So, in this fight, just like in story mode, the boss will put up in a rage circle around him that will cause the dogs to go crazy. He also has the 2 ads that have no ability to be taunted. You can't tank them. You just got to deal with them, heal through them, and DPS them down. The added mechanic here is that the boss will stun the tank and then drop aggro. So if he does this, you have to make sure that you taunt him as soon as you can. The tank should be standing far away from the rest of the group. The rest of the group is pretty much on their own. This fight is a little bit boring for the tank, I'll have to say that. All you really do is stand here and tank the boss, tank the dogs sometimes when they come. It looks like the healer is getting a little bit of tunnel vision and forgetting me. But that's okay, I'll just kite a little bit more. He seems to be pretty easily kited. Except I don't want to lose aggro to the healer like I just did. Looks like we got 1 dog down, 1 dog to go. Once you get 1 dog down, this fight ceases to be that difficult. It is just very long. Everything does seem to have a lot of health. I can see the dogs having the same health, but the boss doesn't have to have this much health. Maybe half it. Because once you get the dogs down, this is pretty boring. And once you kill him, he drops some loots, which you will see in a moment. Right here. It actually seems like this place does drop a higher level of gear. I don't know if they're just testing to see whether they should put them at this level or if they should put them at the 61 level. Because I'm pretty sure everything else just drops level 61 gear, and this is dropping higher level gear. So it makes me think like they're going to put this in a tier of its own. Also, it looks like that they are upping power crystals. Oh no, never mind. It just looks like they're the same. The blue are the same level as the current purple crystals. Seems like a weird choice. For some reason, a lot of people do seem to drop out of this flashpoint. It's probably because of the difficulty. It's the PTS, though. I don't see why. If you're joining this group in the PTS, you should probably expect a little bit of time to be taken to testing. There are probably going to be bugs and things like that. So if you're just doing it to get loot, I don't see why you're doing flashpoints here. And everyone is here, and we can continue clearing. I definitely want to wait for the big droid to pat back, or pat forward. We can pull him out, because things will spawn. Or we can just CC him. That works too. Trash is seeming a little bit less difficult than it was previously. It's probably because of the very good healer we have. Definitely not tanking any better, that's for sure. The first boss, like I said, was an excellent example of how to convert a boss into a hard mode. He gained an extra ability. It wasn't super difficult, even though everyone was taking a lot of damage. I've seen it done even easier than that in worse groups than this one. But mechanically, that boss was enjoyable. It had a couple different things going on, lots of stuff happening, which is usually the sign of a good hard mode conversion. And the double turret pulls are pretty tough. I don't know why they targeted lasered one of them and didn't get the other one, and went on and killed the other one. But it looks like they got it just fine here. Alright, and now we get to go in the subway tube, underground, L, whatever you want to call it, metro. Seems like the healer is having some freezing issues, or maybe not the healer. So that could be part of the issue, but I don't think it's all of the issue. I just think some of this trash is slightly overtuned. Here you can skip a lot of this trash by going over to the right and just killing this group of silvers. They're not even silvers. And then you can jump over onto this box over here if I don't fail hard like I just did. Oh, it's because we're still in combat. Duh. And then just jump over here onto the box or around the box and skipped. I guess we got the elevator. Okay, or you can just have slicing and you can activate the elevator. And miscommunications abound. Looks like we're just gonna go this way. And by looks like, I mean I'm just gonna go this way, and I'm the tank, so I get to decide. Most annoying thing about these droid guys is the knockback, which is the same as in easy mode. It's just annoying to deal with. Most everything in here is fully CCable, so make sure you're using your stuns and slows, snares, etc. And now, probably the most annoying part of this whole flashpoint, the droids that knock back on the bridge. I will try not to fail, like I did last night, and pull everything underneath that we just skipped. We'll see if that works out. I'm just trying to interrupt everyone so no one can fail it. Yeah, you can cast cannons normal all you want. That's fine. Now this next boss coming up is my favorite boss of the whole game, actually. I am a big fan of the 4 enemy team fight that board the ship. It's probably a little easier than it is in story mode, even though nothing is CCable. It's just nothing does as much damage as it seems to. But each one, as you kill one, they gain a new ability. Usually we go kill order, being the Marauder, and then the Sorcerer, and then the Agent, and then the Bounty Hunter. The big deal is only the Marauder can't be CC'd by anything. So, we got a marked fire lightning target gun, and we're gonna go ahead and give this one a shot. As you'll see here, they kind of go wherever they want. They are tauntable, but only while the taunt is active will anything happen. The hardest part is probably getting through this first stage of the fight where you have all 4 active. So I would probably use my cooldowns there. And down goes the Marauder. And they all get a buff, but at this point the fight gets much easier. They are immune to the pre-combat CCs. Anything that breaks on combat they are immune to. So just be aware of that. Like I said, you want to keep using your stuns and stuff. And it looks like no one else is using any of their stun abilities, which is probably why the healer died. This fight doesn't do a ton of damage, it's not super difficult, but we didn't do it right, and we failed. That's how it should be. This fight also shows how it doesn't necessarily have to be tuned extremely well to be very difficult. And to be, not very difficult, to be very interesting. This fight is interesting without being super difficult, which is what I like most about it. So, kill the Marauder as best we can. Taunt whenever you can as a tank. So use your stuns as they come up, like that. Probably want to use them on the guys in the back. I was kind of failing at that. Use knockbacks too, those help. They'll save you a little bit of damage. They are immune to interrupts, so be aware of that. If you can knock them out of range, that's good. That's less damage you're taking. Also, I believe you can Los them. And to keep B-res, and you definitely don't want to stand in death from above. He only starts doing that when he's the last guy up, but it does hurt a lot. So full auto also hurts a lot when he is fully buffed with the enrage from killing everyone else. So this is really a stupid check. Don't stand in stuff, and make sure that you're healed up enough to withstand a full auto. So far, excellent fight. First two bosses are A+ in terms of fun and tuning level. I mean, maybe they're tuned slightly too high because we are in the full gear, but that's about how difficult I would expect them to be if you were in flashpoint level gear. And that was fun. That's a fun boss. Like I said, that's my favorite boss in the game right now. It's just fun to fight lots of different things. It's a very interesting, different fight. You don't really have that fight anywhere else. You can skip this pack if you CC the dude and just walk right through him. This pack you can't skip. You have the same moral choice console thing here. Nothing's changed with the story or anything. That would be cool if all the hard modes got a little twist to the story. Maybe something slightly different happens, but I guess that can't be expected when they just port it right up to hard mode. Usually I find it best to kill the little dudes just because they die quickly and then deal with the big elites. I think that's how a lot of groups do it. They do weakest to strongest. I guess that's one of the perks of having like the 4 or 5 tier add difficulty. That allows for different things like that. It's not just pick one target and kill it, because they're all the same. Upcoming in here, you'll see the bonus boss, which is probably the least interesting of all the bosses. You'll see in a moment. Both the bonus bosses so far were highly underwhelming. They're pretty much tank and spank with one mechanic. This one is slightly cooler than the other one. You'll see why in a moment. But overall, it's just a little underwhelming for something that drops. He also drops the black hole level gear. A lot of people got confused in my last video when I said that the black market stuff is equivalent to campaign. When I said that, I meant it as equivalent in tier-wise, so campaign is the second highest tier in game currently, and black market is the second highest tier in the PTS right now in 2.0. So this guy jets up from outside, probably off that ship there, and all he really does is a knockback, so make sure you tank him with your back against the wall. He also hits pretty freaking hard, so be aware of that. Like I said, back against the wall and he should be fine. He also jumps to random people, so taunt him back. But other than that, it's just a tank and spank with a butt ton of health. He does have an enrage, so you have to kill him relatively quickly. I could see where under-geared groups would have a definite problem with the enrage, but that's tuning. That's not a good thing. That is a bad design thing. If you're tuning to just enrage because people don't have good gear, that's not well done, boss. This guy has way too much health for what he does. If you're going to give something a lot of health, you better make sure that it's interesting. Like the second boss has a pretty decent chunk of health that takes a while to kill all 4 of them, but it's varied and different. There's lots of stuff going on, so that's okay. This guy has a ton of health. The first boss kind of has the same problem. A ton of health and not that much to do equals a not interesting experience. Just sitting here tanking and spanking is not fun. Like I said, he does hit really hard, but that's not interesting or fun. That's just him hitting really hard. Do I phase walk down before we pull him this time? Gives the healer a little bit more oomph. And we'll try it again. This is really only a test of the healer's gear and ability, and the tank's gear and ability. Nothing else, which is upsetting. Gear checks are not enjoyable, to be honest. I don't think there is an AoE. I'm pretty sure he just tank dropped and he didn't realize, and I didn't have a taunt. But healers, please stand in the glowy yellow circle. It gives you bonus heals. So as long as everyone is standing in the bubble and getting their heals properly, it shouldn't be too bad. The healer seems to be getting behind again, but what can you do? I went from saying that this group was way better than the group I did with last night, but last night we one-shot every boss. We just wiped a bunch on trash. Alright, but that's pretty much the whole fight. I think I'm gonna get this group to skip this. The healer obviously can't keep up. So we've decided to just skip that boss, go on to the last boss, who is right in the next room pretty much. The last boss is pretty fun. The turrets, I don't think he does anything new. He does an AoE ability, I think, on a person that you have to get away from. But other than that, the turrets are now the top level elites, the boss level elites, so they take a lot longer to kill. But same thing, you just kill the turrets and then kill the boss. You should only ever have 2 turrets up at once. And once you do that, you should be successful. Again, these turrets do hit very hard. And final boss. And let's give him a go.
You're worthy opponents, but this ship belongs to Clan Varad. Time for you to die.
This boss currently bugs a lot. It looks like he jumps somewhere, he jumps somewhere else. So if you notice him bugging out, that's probably why. Like, I think right now it thinks he's over, yeah, it thinks he's over there, even though he wasn't. So now we want to get on the turrets. With all the turrets up, it does hit pretty hard. You still want to avoid these circles on the floor. That's pretty much the only way a well-geared tank and a well-geared healer will fail this, is if you stand in AoE like that. And here we go.
You're worthy opponents, but this ship belongs to Clan Varad. Time for you to die.
And now he's in the right spot. He didn't bug out this time.
What's the matter? Getting tired? Ah!
And now the turrets are up. Once you get one turret down, the other one goes down pretty fast. And the damage is much less with one turret instead of 2. he's going to jump to the other corner.
Only you fought this hard in the war.
Turrets. These turrets, like most turrets, are CC immune, so keep that in mind. Don't be wasting time trying to stun them. And that's death from above. Once he jumps to the middle, he does death from above, and you just gotta not stand in it. Overall, pretty fun fight. It's another one of my favorite bosses in the game. And once you kill him, he also drops the black market gear. It really does seem like this is meant to be a separate tier. It's difficult on the healers, and a lot of the trash is tuned really high up, which wants lots of CC, sometimes more than your group might have. If they want this to be on the same tier, definitely it's going to have to be tuned down damage-wise, but not mechanically. The mechanics are fine and fun to do. So, try something new here. If you've watched this whole video, I want to know what your favorite boss in the game is currently. What's your favorite boss in any flashpoint? Doesn't have to be hard mode, just any flashpoint. What's your favorite boss? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.